Hello, everybody, and welcome to this next installment in our spiritual psychology series, Healing the Psyche. Oh gosh, we are talking about self-regulation today. Nearly said co-regulation, but we are talking about self-regulation today. What is it, and why is it so important for your soul mission? Why is it so important for what we're here to bring, what we're here to create here on Earth? So, self-regulation is essentially about the managing of our emotions, the respect and the acknowledgement of how we're feeling. Now, in today's world, there are so many of us who have this enmeshment with one another. Some call that empathy, where you can go somewhere and you just feel all the energy of everyone all around. And, that's because of, well, that's another video, but that's because we're feeling and we're drawing in others' emotions, right? But that also comes a part of being unaware of how we're actually feeling. And this may initially create a bit of resistance upon hearing that, because realistically, where we're at, and especially in the spiritual world, there is so much focus on what we wish to share and what we wish to offer to one another, the love and the joy that we wish to spark in one another, that we actually oftentimes bypass ourselves, we ignore ourselves a little bit. So self-regulation is based on the premise that you are acknowledging how you're feeling. Because what happens otherwise is we project and we get triggered. And when an event or when a person or when something triggers us, whatever that is, has power over us. If something has power over us, we're giving our power away. That's what that really means. No one really has power over us, but it can be deemed that way by the part of our ego, which feels like that power is being taken. So say, for example, you go out into a busy town and you're feeling overwhelmed with energy, you're feeling everyone's hustle and bustle and chaos, and you're feeling all this stuff. We can start to feel frustrated, right? We might start to feel overwhelmed. Now, normally what happens is, especially in the spiritual world, we go, oh my gosh, I'm an empath, or I'm really introverted, or I can't do crowds, or I can't do people. And then we project what we feel. We project this emotion and this response, this reaction even, onto those around us. And instead of actually looking within and finding what the wound is, because it is based in a wound, rather than finding the wound, we go, oh, I can't do crowds. I can't live out here. I can't do this, or I can't do that. And we start to limit ourselves. Now, isn't that interesting? Because so many of us here, especially in the spiritual world, we're wanting and craving to make that impact, But to make impact, we kind of have to anchor that energy within ourselves so that we can be that beacon of light that catalyzes around, that shines the way for others. So how do we self-regulate? Well, first we have to start acknowledging how we feel. So let's take that analogy of going out into a busy town, and you're feeling the hustle and bustle, and you're feeling the chaos of others. You're feeling the impatience perhaps of others on the road or around you, but it's bringing something up within you as well. So it's not just their energy. There is something coming up, reacting within you. This is why meditation is so good, because when we meditate, we're actually practicing self-observation. But let us look at this. So we go, okay. Oh my gosh, it feels so hectic, so chaotic around me. What am I feeling? Oh, I'm feeling overwhelmed. So the first thing is we have to acknowledge, we have to identify what we're feeling. When we identify what we're feeling, we're actually putting a name to it. We're making it real. But here's the key. The next step is we have to realize it's okay to feel it. Why am I making an emphasis here? Well, because we've grown up in a world where shame has been the primary control method. Shame. So normally when we feel something, we have such a program and an imprint within us that says, it's bad to feel that, don't feel that, ignore that you feel that, bypass that, hide it away, right? So if we have ever, when we were younger, for example, if we were upset, if we cried, or, whatever, that children are incredible at this, because they will emote. Babies, they emote. Children, they emote. And that's a good thing. And we forget that. We train ourselves out of that as we get older. We shame ourselves out of it as we get older. So the first thing that we have to do is, once we identify the emotion that we're feeling, I'm feeling overwhelmed. And that's okay. We have to say it's okay. We have to remind ourselves it's okay. Because really, emotions are our treasure map. They are our leading light to tell us whether we are on our purpose, on our path, to show us the direction that we're actually meant to be going. And if we can't befriend our emotions, all the spectrum of it, then we're in trouble. So we want to start to practice and really start to employ self-regulation in daily practice, in daily life. Because what will that actually do? What will it achieve? Well, it allows us to return to our center quicker, return to our hearts quicker. Because if we ignore the emotion, if we ignore what we're feeling, if we push it down, if we say it's someone else, it's because of their energy, all we're doing is we are impounding it, compounding it, and what will happen is eventually it'll erupt, right? And usually it erupts through the physical form. Usually it erupts through an illness, right? And we don't want that. We don't want you to feel fatigued or tired or groggy or have a chronic condition. We don't want that. That's not your natural state. That's all the emotion that we've shamed ourselves out of feeling, right? So self-regulation is when you start to practice recognizing the emotion that you're feeling as you're feeling it. Recognizing it, when you put a name to it, well, it welcomes it. Because emotion is meant to be that guiding light. And then once we've put the name to it, we go, I'm feeling overwhelmed, and that's okay. I'm feeling grief, and that's okay. I'm feeling heartache, and that's okay. You can do the other way around as well when you're feeling something exciting. I'm feeling happy, and that's okay. It's really important. It's really important that we start to become comfortable with our own emotions. Because in our shadows, in our unconscious, in our subconscious, we have trained ourselves to feel so shamed by them that we actually, without consciously realizing, won't let them arise. And if we don't let them arise, then we're always under the control of an external force. And if we're under the control of an external force, that's us giving that power away. That's no one else trying to take it. That's us giving it away. And then what happens is we are off our path. We're unfocused. Our masculine, feminine energies are out of balance. Our soul mission, our soul path is off, or it's not going as quick as it could be. Our relationships get chaotic. So self-regulation is the key here. It's the key to knowing yourself truly. Because right now, none of us really know ourselves. We only know our ego. We only know our imprints. We only know our behaviors. And every day we get to see more and more of who we are every time we unweave a thread, every time we release a behavior or recognize it even. When we start to be able to self-regulate, we become able to articulate better. We become able to be in integrity. Our heart, our throat, our energy fields start to realign. We start to become more trustworthy, not just to others, but to ourselves. And that's a big thing. Because most of us aren't in a place of being able to trust ourselves. Because we ignore ourselves, we ignore layers of ourselves. So this is huge. I can't emphasize that enough. This is huge. And it takes practice. And this isn't about ignoring what's coming up, it's about acknowledging what you're feeling. When it might be a surprise as well. It might come up all of a sudden, it usually does. Acknowledge it, and it allows it to dissipate. Say it's okay, and then it really allows itself to flow, and it alchemizes what the emotion is there for. The emotion is going to build that bridge between your higher self and your lower self, right? Everyone's on this journey as well of really learning and remembering this and being really honest with it, because it's so easy for us to say, it's that person. That person's done this to me. That person said this to me. This experience happened. But really, it's not actually really about that. It's about how we felt through the process. And when we can shift and change and become aware of how we're feeling, we get to actually employ discernment, and we get to actually employ a little bit of mastery over our emotions. We don't want to stifle them and shut them down, but we can shift easier perspective, which means that we can shift our creational force, our creational focus, our magnetism and our magnification. We can shift it quicker with ease, creating more of what it is that we do want, rather than creating from our subconscious what we don't want because we fail to acknowledge our emotion. So this is how we start self-regulation. Next video, we'll talk about co-regulation, how you do this with another. But until we learn to self-regulate, we're not going to be able to co-regulate. Okay? So really simple, really easy. Acknowledge what you're feeling. Take a moment to breathe. Whew. I'm feeling really hot. Sometimes it might start like this. If you don't know what the emotion is, we have to get there. Oh, I'm feeling really hot inside. I feel really stuffy. I feel really compressed. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, where am I feeling it? I'm feeling it in my stomach. Okay. Well, what am I actually feeling? Well, it feels stressful. I feel stressed. I feel overwhelmed. Oh, I feel overwhelmed. Okay. I feel like there's lots of expectations on me. So that's overwhelming for me. I feel overwhelmed. And that's okay. It's okay that I feel overwhelmed. Because the thing is, once we go through that process, once we go through that little step by step, like we just did, and it might be a completely different emotion, but just to show you, what then happens is that emotion starts to dissipate. You start to create space in your being. It starts to release. And then we also start to realize the mind catches up. The mind has the space then to choose to think something else, to choose to take on a different truth. So for example, in that experience, instead of thinking, oh, all these people have all these expectations on me, which happens a lot in today's world when we're working or things like that, we then can go, do they really have those expectations? This is what the mind then does. Do we really have those expectations? Maybe they're just communicating. It is the emotion that we feel that's caused us to create that truth. So you see here how our reality can really shift. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you're interested in learning more or in working one-to-one, if you're interested in learning more, please subscribe to this channel. Please do watch and share this video if it's helpful. If you think it's helpful, share it with others. And if you are keen to see how you can work with me, please visit my website, aliceheath.com, and go and have a look at the sacred offerings, which are the services that I have, to see whether I have any live appointments, any private live appointments available, or just the remote ones. And any workshops, past and future, are in the events tab. But for now, I send you so much love, so much appreciation. Thank you for being here and bringing your light to earth right now. See you next time.